Hey everyone, welcome back to a new r/maliciouscompliance video. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Contact the Owner. My wife used to be an apartment manager for a 190 unit complex. It was a live-in situation, so we didn't have to pay utilities or rent. We did, however, have to deal with residents knocking on our door all day and sometimes nights, despite having clear office hours of 10 to 6. We had a weekend manager who had no authority but could show apartments and help with lockouts. The owner of the complex was a dishonest ex-con, and to this day I have no idea how he got the money to build the complex. This guy was notorious for squeezing every penny out of residents that he could. When signing the lease, it was clearly explained by my wife that everything must be taken from the apartments when residents moved out. There was a strict $100 charge for all larger items that were not removed, things like beds, furniture and televisions. This would all come out of the deposit made at the time of signing. When residents told my wife they were moving, she would again remind them to remove everything from the apartment or they would not receive their full deposit. One resident we had moved out over the weekend and had a conversation with the weekend manager. Again, the weekend manager had no authority. This resident stated that the weekend manager said it was okay to leave a few items and that someone would come to claim the items as their own and that the items would be gone before final checks. When my wife went to go look over the vacated apartment, she found a TV stand and a desk. She then checked with the weekend manager, who said they never told the prior resident they could leave items behind. My wife had maintenance come and dispose of the 3 large items, but rather than charge the typical $300, she only charged $100. My wife then called the prior resident, explaining that they had left a few items but only $100 would come out of their $700 deposit. The prior residents were furious with my wife and aggressively claimed the weekend manager said it was okay to leave items. My wife explained over and over that the policy is to have everything gone and that she was actually saving them $200. The prior residents were having none of it and would call over and over, yelling at my wife to fix it. The prior residents demanded that this be escalated to the owner. So my wife forwarded the emails from the prior residents and explained that they had been charged $100. The owner read the emails and thought my wife had mistakenly charged $100 instead of $300. The owner then told my wife to withhold $300 from the $700 instead of the prior $100 charge, and the check went out to the prior residents for $400. The prior residents threatened to sue and still called for a while, but after a while they gave up and moved on. Sometimes people should just accept kind gestures rather than throw a temper tantrum. The next story is called Sure, Take It. I'm part of a group that keeps a community garden and helps local people get into gardening too. We let people know we will take any old tools and equipment, as we can often repair, restore or just sharpen stuff and it's as good as new. And we just give it back or away in exchange for a small donation. It's not uncommon to see mowers or trimmers outside houses in the summer for the scrap man, and we always snag them. Easily 75% of the electrical stuff we get, maybe even as much as 90%, just needs a fuse or a new plug and it's good to go. You leave electrical gear in a damp garage all winter and it will need some attention, but people just chuck it out. So a few years ago I'm working on the garden and hear someone say, hey, excuse me. Someone said I can get a mower here. This is already a bad start. We are British for crying out loud. What's happened to please and thank you and sorry? It was a guy who looked like what I can only describe as a big posh sort, and as I started into my normal spiel about welcome to our garden, he cut me off and asked where he could get a lawnmower, as someone said he could get a free one here. No problem, maybe he's some weirdo who doesn't want to hear about how the broad beans are doing well this year. We actually had 2 lawnmowers that had been dropped off that weekend, a little hover mower that I had already fixed and a massive overworked model with adjustable cutting lengths, automatic compressing grass box and such. I hadn't touched it because they are massively complicated and they are expensive, so no one gives them to us unless they are complete out of warranty junk. I told the guy he could take the small one, but the other was probably broken, but he looked it up on his phone and decided he wanted it. He tried it, it started, he took it, done. Glad to see the back of it. An hour later, my phone rings. Hi, I got your number from your website. I picked up a lawnmower about an hour ago, but it only runs for a few minutes and cuts out. Can I bring it back? Sorry mate. I literally just got rid of a knackered one of those. I really don't want another. Sorry, I can't help. And I hung up. The third story is called Speak English. It was the late 1980s in Los Angeles, California. By this time, my mom, a Japanese immigrant, had been living in the United States for 10 years. Although she could speak English well, she wasn't fluent and preferred to speak Japanese with others from the local Japanese-American community. One day, she and her friend were waiting to be seated at a restaurant on Beverly Boulevard. As they chatted away in Japanese, a large shadow cast down upon them. Looking up, they found Karen's 1989 counterpart leering down at them. The woman had a look of pure contempt trying to work its way across facial muscles frozen by Botox. "You too," Karen barked. "This is America. Speak English." Startled, my mom and her friend made eye contact, unsure of what to do. Encounters like this were sadly ones they had run into many times since they came to live in the USA. They were not ones for confrontation. Before, they couldn't do anything while their bullies marched off unpunished. But then, as they made eye contact, a brilliant thing happened. Mom likened the moment to their thought processes coming in sync together. They had a shared idea that didn't need any further elaboration or explanation. "Master me, my dear, I do think the waiter ought to have shown up to escort us to our table by now," Mom chimed in the poshest British accent she could muster. "It's frightfully rude to keep us waiting like this." "Yes, darling," her friend replied, invoking her best impersonation of the Princess of Wales. "It is frightfully rude indeed." As they continued to twitter away in their fake English accents, Karen began to slowly back away. Her Botox face reddened and twisted itself in a visage as hideous as the Furies. Realizing that she had just been outsmarted by two young women obsessed with British culture and celebrity, all she could do was storm off down Beverly Boulevard as a defeated bully. The next story is called I Demand to Speak to Your Boss. I work in a customer service-based role, though my job does entail other tasks, not customer-facing. Customers have accounts with my company, and I am able to access and view many account details. We have a customer who always demands to speak with my boss. She doesn't like talking to me or the other lowly peons who can't possibly know anything or assist her. I have had past occurrences with this customer to already have her on my naughty list, though granted she isn't the highest person. My office opens at 9 AM, and I have yet to be proven wrong that whenever the phone rings right at opening, it will not be a good, fun, or pleasant conversation. The clock strikes 9:04 AM, and the phone rings. I take a deep breath and prepare myself for a myriad of potential issues I'm about to hear. A shrill voice, one I recognize immediately, is on the other end. But I still give my typical cheery greeting. "I need to speak to your boss, right now. It's very important. It's about my account." "Oh, the boss isn't in today. They will be back tomorrow. Is there anything I can help you with?" "No, only they can help me. It's about my account." "I have to speak with them. It's very urgent. It's about my account." "Well, they are out of the office today, but I can let them know you called, and they can call you back when they are back in tomorrow." "That is unacceptable. I have to talk to them today." "I know you have contact information and can get in touch with them." "You need to contact them and have them get in touch with me today." "How dare you say it's unacceptable for someone to be out of the office because you need to talk to them? You have no idea why they took a day off. It's none of your business, but you still have no idea if something happened or if they are taking a much needed and well-deserved vacation. And you want me to disrupt any of those possible scenarios because you need to talk to them about your account? I don't think so." My wheels are already turning about how to comply. "Well, I can try to reach out, but again, they are not here today, and I cannot promise they will get in touch today. May I have your name and account number?" Shrill voice states their name, which I already knew, and instead of the account number, which I also knew but wanted to confirm, she provides her phone number, because obviously I am going to immediately do as she demanded. I pointedly ask for the account number, and she provides it. She again states that she must talk to my boss and they need to call her today, and says goodbye and then hangs up on me. I have a few pet peeves, some minor and some not, and she hit almost all of them during that conversation. So I did as she asked and contacted my boss. I texted them about a different matter altogether and had a lovely little text conversation, never mentioning shrill voice and her demands. I did send my boss an email letting them know that Shrill Voice had called and her demands, but it was about an hour or two after the initial call from her. I did not mark the email as anything special, and my boss has been out of the office for 3 days, so it will be lost in the sea of emails my boss will come back to. When my boss gets to the email, they can reach out to her. Also, fun little speculation on my part. I am almost positive I know what this customer was calling about because again, I can see her account information and I could have helped answer her questions right then. The last story is called Give a Little, Get a Little. The past few years I've been putting up firm boundaries with work after being screwed over a few times, including not being expected to answer emails or do assignments evenings and weekends. It's taken a long time, but I have learned my worth and that my time is valuable. Our company has about 200 employees, but I work most closely with one other person who I've been encouraging to do the same. We were all put on remote work since last March, and recently the building opened again with the expectation that we would start back in person. I give props to them. They have done a ton of work to get the building cleaned, the air filters updated, enforcing masking and such. However, HR at first talked a lot about how they would be willing to be flexible since most schools are still closed and people needed childcare worked out, and that they would grant accommodations with people who had health concerns. Yet that didn't actually play out. In my situation, I needed to start 30 minutes later and was told no. Several other co-workers have shared similar stories of not getting any flexibility whatsoever. My co-worker has several health issues and requested to work an alternate schedule and was told the job is 8 to 4, so that's when he must be there. Understandably, they were upset. We've both been there well over a decade, and it's kind of a slap in the face to dedicate yourself to a place that talks up community and family and then told no after being promised flexibility. And here is where the malicious compliance starts. The company handles missed time by covering in-house. So, for instance, if someone has a meeting at a certain time or calls in sick, someone who has a break or lunch covers them and gets paid a little stipend for it. We are talking like $20, not much, but if you take a few extras over a week, it can add up to a nice little bit in your pay. My coworker coordinates all this and does it on Sunday for the upcoming week. Even though they don't work on Sunday, they would say it only takes about an hour to do, and it makes everyone's life so much easier since everyone walks on Monday morning knowing who is covering when, so it's worth it. Upset at the lack of accommodation, my coworker decided to take HR's word for it. They stopped sending the coverage email on the weekend and did it at 8 o'clock sharp on Monday. It was like the end of the world, everyone was scrambling. Such a little thing to make life convenient, but they refuse now to do anything outside of work hours. They told me that the following weekend managers were asking for it throughout Saturday and Sunday, but they ignored the emails. On Monday, they sent it at 8 o'clock sharp again. By the afternoon, the head boss had asked them to please resume doing it on the weekend, and they are now getting the extra hour paid by the company. Take care of your employees, and they take care of you. Give a little, get a little. Thanks for watching the video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, comment and subscribe to the channel for more content. Let me know what you think about the video in the comment section below. Have a great day, bye bye.